No-Brainer MMA. What's going on, Dan?
It's good, bro.
How you doing?
Pretty good. You killed the main card and I killed the prelims.
Yeah, dude. I went 10-3. I had a great day. Great day at the races.
Yeah, I think I was one off.
Yeah.
Maybe like 9-4 or something like that. Still, it's like it's not where I want to be. I love like that's not quite 70%.
Mm.
And if I'm not hitting 70%, I'm pissed at myself.
That's a
and
good
that just makes me do more film research and shit.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about UFC Fight Night Whittaker versus Gastelum.
It'll be a good one.
Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Andrei Arlovski versus Chase Sherman. This is a short notice fight. The 42-year-old Andrei Arlovski takes this one on short notice, coming off a loss from a sub by Tom Aspinall. And he's 3-2 in his last 5. He's taken on Chase Sherman, who was cut from the UFC in 2018 after losing 3 straight, but then went 4-1-1 in a couple of fights in bare knuckle before he was re-signed and went on to beat Ike Villanueva. This fight is so tough. Chase Sherman has pretty good volume for a big guy. But then again, Andrei Arlovski is just so gritty and like he knows how to win a fight. He'll, with control against the fence and all that stuff.
He's got that veteran's mindset.
Yeah. I think this fight will stay on the feet. Andrei Arlovski hasn't gotten a takedown since 2018, and Sherman's hasn't had a single takedown in his UFC career, which is 8 fights. So if it stays on the feet, I kind of give which I think it will, I give the edge to Sherman. So I'm just going to go Sherman. Very tough fight. It's going to go either way. This one's so tough.
Yeah, this one's super tough because you get, like, both of them are iffy at this point. Andrei obviously is a legend, future UFC Hall of Famer. Definitely, like, if he's not already, I don't think he's already in the Hall of Fame, but definitely a UFC Hall of Famer. Like, he's a living legend of an MMA. Right. But he is getting up there in age. He did revitalize his career a lot, but like I said, he's getting towards the end of it.
For sure.
He lost his last fight to Tom Aspinall, but that's Tom Aspinall. Like the way he hit Andrei Arlovski and got that rear naked choke was like one of the quickest I've ever seen, and it was at heavyweight. So his like going like that transition from hitting him to grabbing the back and choking him out was like some of the quickest I've ever seen. So he's fighting like my number 1 heavyweight guy to watch. Right. But then he beat Tanner Boser, who was on an incredible hot streak of his own. So like you said, it's a really tough fight. I'm gonna give the edge to Arlovski. I think he edges out a decision or something in this fight. He's just crafty and just figures out a way to win. But then again, I'm super unconfident in this pick. I have maybe like 4 fights on this card that I would strongly advise to stay away from. This is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah, as long as we're disagreeing but agreeing at the same time. Exactly. We know this fight is.
Yeah, I'm not going to be putting any money. This won't be in any parlays for me. I'm not going to put any bets on this.
It's coming off that win over Ike Villanueva, who's basically a 205er, and he's a heavy. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't fucking like it.
Me either. But we're going to disagree on the first one. Dan's going Arlovski. I'm going Sherman. And we're going to move right into the next Tony Gravely, Anthony Birchak.
Anthony Birchak?
Yeah. You want to do that one, Dan?
Yeah. Tony Gravely, 29 years old. He is a wrestler. Hell of a wrestler at that. He has a notable win over Draco Rodriguez before coming into the UFC. His only loss into the UFC is to Brett Johns. And if y'all know who Brett Johns is, he is definitely no slouch. The only issue is that he does get submitted at times, if I'm not mistaken. Like, looking at his record, I was going to say
he got submitted by Brett Johns.
Yeah, I think 3 out of 4 of his fights are 3 out of or he's been submitted like 3 or 4 times. He's been submitted 3 out of 5 fights. He's got a loss to Manny Bermudez and Merab Davashvili too. So he's been fighting some pretty high level competition outside of the UFC. So I'm pretty big on this Gravely guy. Not saying that he's like a world beater or anything, but he's definitely improving on his sub defense. Even though Johns ended up submitting him, he had his back in the first round. Johns had Gravely's back for 3+ minutes in the first round in his UFC debut, and he wasn't able to really do anything. Like he was fending up the subs well. He had a back and forth fight with him too, and he landed some pretty big takedowns and slams. He's also a really creative takedown artist. He'll throw people. He'll have some explosive slams. His stand-up is pretty decent, fairly technical, mostly used to set up his takedowns. He's also got a solid chin too. Birchak, on the other hand, I just don't know what to think about this guy, man. Like, to be honest, no disrespect. I don't think this guy's going to be in the UFC after this fight. Little spoiler on my prediction. He's coming off a loss to Gustavo Lopez.
I like Gustavo Lopez. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, but Gustavo Lopez just got dominated by Yanez, who could be a superstar down the line. But anyway, he's this is his second coming in the UFC as well. I'm pretty sure. I think he was in the UFC in the past and came back, if I'm not mistaken. Just fact checking.
He had a 4-year layoff from the UFC.
Yeah, it's just not looking good for him, you know?
Yeah.
That his takedown defense against Gustavo Lopez wasn't there. He kind of got rocked on the feet. If I'm remembering the correct fight. I definitely am. He kind of got rocked on the feet, taken down with ease, and just subbed. I think that Gravely just gets a clean, unanimous decision, or he ground and pounds his way to victory. Who knows? Maybe he pulls a sub of his own. Let's see how that jiu-jitsu's been going.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, Dan. I'm going with Tony Gravely in this one. Averages 5 takedowns a fight over the course of his 3 fights at 50% accuracy. He is taking this fight on short notice and is actually undefeated inside the UFC Apex. And I read an article on My MMA News, and he was just saying how much he prefers the smaller Apex cage for his wrestling than the normal size cage. He's taken on Anthony Birchak. Am I saying that? Is that what it is?
Birchak, I'm pretty sure.
Name is fucking me up. 2-3 in the UFC, but was cut in 2016 and re-signed in 2020, losing the fight by sub to Gustavo Lopez, like Dan said. He's actually 3-1 in his last 4 fights. Granted, not to the best competition, but I think this is a great fight for Gravely, and he's definitely going to be able to take this one.
Yeah, he's just going to take him down at will. He landed 7 takedowns in his last fight, if I'm not mistaken. He's just a beast when it comes to wrestling. So yeah, I think he coasts and gets an easy win.
Yeah,
odds are reflecting of that. I think he's a -300. Let me fact check that.
Is that right?
Let's see.
I get it. That makes sense to me.
Why can't I find it?
It's all right.
Oh yeah, he's a -310. So
yeah,
makes sense.
All right, cool. We're both going Gravely, right, Dan?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. We're gonna move into the next one. Zara Fern versus Joseon Nunez.
Joseon Nunez. Yeah.
Fern is 0-2 in the UFC, but that was at featherweight. Now she's dropping down to bantamweight in this fight. She has a -4.63 striking differential over 2 fights. Just really.
Those were 2 of the best featherweights in the UFC.
There's only 2 featherweights. She is going to have a 6-inch reach advantage. She's taken on Joseon Nunez, who's making her UFC debut and has a 7-1 MMA record, and is on a 6-fight winning streak with her last 4 wins coming by KO or TKO. And her only loss coming from Talia Santos, who we've seen in the UFC, like, kill it so far. and that was her second MMA fight ever. I think this is a rather one-sided fight for Nunez, who has some really great striking, which I think will be no match for Fern. She fights. I think she fights kind of stagnant. Only has 39% striking defense. So yeah, I'm gonna go Nunez in this one.
Fern?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, the thing with Fern is her stats are a little skewed in the UFC because, like I said, she fought Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer. She's got good striking though. She's just flat-footed, and her defense just isn't really there when it comes to the striking. She has a glaring hole in her game, which is the ground, and she's awful on the ground. I'm not trying to insult, but like it's awful. Like Megan Anderson took her down, grabbed mount, and then locked in a triangle choke when she tried to get out of it. Felicia Spencer took her down, grabbed mount, and pounded her away to a TKO. It's She just gets hit too often on the feet. Joseon Nunez, she's a dark horse. Like there's not much tape on her to really see. Like you're watching a lot of shit in 240p. Like like you said, her only loss is to Tyler Santos. She's got a Muay Thai background, nasty, explosive power striker. Neither of them are very good on the ground, but I think this is going to be more of a stand-up fight. Fern just seems like when her body language in the cage just doesn't seem to be that of like a high level fighter or even a UFC fighter at that. It seems like she doesn't like when she gets hit, she definitely doesn't enjoy, like, not that anybody enjoys getting hit, but like, she just, you can tell, like, I don't think her heart is like 100% in the fight as it should be, like, can you see that from her body language in those two fights that she had?
I could see it. Well, yeah, she got beat up pretty bad in those two fights too. So
At first I was gonna say to stay away from, but at this point I'm like, fuck it. Let's see what this dark horse in Joseon Nunez can do.
totally.
Yeah, both fighters have big question marks. I just said Fern's. Nunez is like the one coming in. Like you don't really know what she's about. You don't really know where her talent level is. So this is going to be a good fight to gauge it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So while at first I said it to like my first thoughts was I'm staying away from this, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm going Nunez, and I think that she gets a fairly one-sided victory. I think she.
Hello.
Yeah, I got
You just
got a
lagged.
little disconnected right there.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said at the end?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, Fern is the bigger fighter, but that's about all she has advantage-wise in this fight.
All right, cool. So we're both going Nunez in that one? Oh, no.
I'm back.
Okay, so we're both going Nunez in that one?
Yeah, did you get the bigger opponent thing that I
Yeah,
said?
I got that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, my internet's being super spotty right now. I might kick everybody off the internet real quick.
Yeah.
Should I?
It's up to you, dude. I don't.
I mean, I think like my internet spike, like Optimum fucking sucks, Fuck the Dolans.
Fuck the Dolans, that's for sure. I agree with that. I agree with that statement. But we're both going Nunez.
Yep.
Right into the next one. Gerald Meerschaert versus Bartosz Zabinski.
Yes, sir.
You want to take it?
Yeah, I'll take it away.
Yeah.
All right, so Meerschaert, where is it? There we go. He's coming off of two pretty devastating losses. 31-14. Definitely not the best record. He got destroyed by Ian Heinisch, and then he got obliterated by Khamzat Chimaev, who was fighting at the wrong weight class. His last win is over Duran Win, who he had a huge reach and size advantage on. and he was just like he actually looked good in that fight. He was kicking. He had some nice body kicks. He just looked overall good. His stand up was there. His and his ground game was there because he ended up hitting him pretty hard. I'm pretty sure he rocked him and then submitted him. But that's his last win. Meerschaert is 33, and he's got a lot of losses by
KO
the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really hard. Like that's just super. It's super tough when it comes to that. He's well versed when it comes, like I said, very well versed when it comes to the ground. Decent stand up, but he is flat footed. He's pretty slow and doesn't generate much power. Yeah, and like I said, his only recent win that was impressive was against Duran Win, which isn't saying too much.
Yeah, I don't really like Duran Win.
Bartosz Fabinski, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's a fighter that actually I was getting him mixed up with Gravely a little bit, but both of them have a similar. They both are similar fighters in a way that they both get submitted a decent amount. Like I said, Gravely got submitted a couple times throughout his career. Fabinski, 3 out of his 4 losses are by submission. He does have a win over Darren Stewart. It was a fight that was scheduled for a UFC event, but then it got some like COVID stuff happened and they rescheduled for Cage Fury because it's all under the same umbrella.
Oh, that's what that was about?
Yeah, so it headlined that, and he won the fight. He got bloodied and he had a gashing. He had like a gashing cut somewhere on his head, and he was leaking, but he was able to take the fight down and
big competition.
Impose his will. But in his last 2 fights, he has been submitted twice, and one was a guillotine, and the other one was by armbar. So both while the guy was on the bottom. So when what he likes to do is he likes to try to pressure you against the cage and secure takedowns. He loves the clinch work. What's it called? But like I said, he's really prone to getting submitted even in top control.
Right.
Like that last fight, Andrei Nunez.
Yep.
Was able to submit him and like he threw up the armbar, and within 5 seconds of that, the fight was over.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
So it's like it's sketchy, especially when you have a guy like Meerschaert who is
dangerous off his back.
He's a dangerous ground fighter. Yeah,
for sure.
This is another. I said I was going to have a couple of these. This is one that I don't really feel comfortable betting on.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see a split decision coming. I see this fight being. I see this fight being against the clinch. In the clinch against the fence, almost the entire. Like one of those fights that you just see them just against the cage the entire fight.
I hate that. That sounds like
but that's the way Fabinski fights.
Yeah.
The butcher. Butchers don't hold people against cages for.
Yeah, they slice you open.
Yeah.
They cut you up. What do they do?
But I think Fabinski will be able to get a win here with his wrestling because Meerschaert isn't the best takedown defend. You know, like he can't really defend a takedown as well as like
he's not going to be able to defend
middle of the pack and takedown defense, if not below average.
Right, for sure.
So I'm going to give Fabinski the win. He's just got to be careful with the subs that Meerschaert's going to try to throw up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Dan. Gerald Meerschaert lost 3 out of his last 4 on a 2-fight KO losing streak. He's got a minus 0.31 striking differential and has landed a total of 3 strikes in his last 2 fights. He's a grappler heavy fighter, averaging over 2 takedowns a fight, 1.7 submission attempts. He's taken on Bartosz Fabinski, who's coming off a loss from Andrei Munoz, excuse me, and is 2-2 in his last 4. He has a plus 0.85 striking differential, a little bit better. Averages 7 takedowns a fight at 80% takedown defense, and 70% takedown accuracy, which is crazy. And that's compared to Meerschaert's 46% takedown defense and 43% takedown accuracy. Fabinski has been in and out of the UFC since 2015 and has a win in Darren Stewart, like Dan said, in Cage Warriors in 2020.
It was a UFC contracted fight.
Right. I think that Fabinski will have the advantage on the feet slightly, and I think that he's going to have a slight advantage on the feet and in the grappling too. So I think wherever the fight goes, that Fabinski's just a little bit better.
Yeah, he's just got to watch out for the submission game
That's
of
it.
Meerschaert. That's the only way Meerschaert is winning that fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're totally agreeing. We're both going. Sorry, Gerald, but we're both going Bartosz Fabinski. Gerald Meerschaert.
I thought you were gonna go Meerschaert. I know you're a Meerschaert fan.
I know you do. Yeah, I respect the guy. I like him. But God, they're feeding him to the wolves.
They love feeding him to the wolves. This
Yeah,
guy's
that's
not as much as a wolf as like Chimaev and.
It's rough times.
Still,
but yeah, we're agreeing. Both going Fabinski. Dan, you want to do the next one too? Jessica Pena versus Lupi. What is it?
Godinez. Yeah. I love this fight. This fight is maybe one of my favorites on the prelims. And I'm gonna go early on and say I'm predicting a finish in this fight.
Oh.
Jessica Pena, 38 years old, coming off of 3 straight losses. And her 2 of them were by finish. But 2 of the losses were to Joanna and Jacek and Jessica and Josh. So nothing to hang your head about. Both really tough fights. And this was in 2015 and 2016. She hasn't had a win since 2014, and that was a split decision win over Randa Marcos. She went on a 3-fight losing streak after losing to Joanna, Jessica Andrade, and then Danielle Taylor back in 2017, and then dealt with this USADA suspension for a long time. So she hasn't fought in a really, really long time. What she has going for her in this fight is that she has that experience fighting a higher level competition, and she is probably more of a complete mixed martial artist. But I'm gonna get into my girl Lupi Godinez right here. I watched a couple of her fights, and I'm already a huge fan of Lupi. She reminds me, like I was telling Connor, I think before this, she reminds me of Alexa Grasso. Her boxing is so crisp. She attacks the head and body like seamlessly and beautifully. She's the strawweight. She was the strawweight champion at LFA, and she came in and she's making a short notice fight against Jessica Pena. She looks good basically everywhere. She's gone 5 rounds. Solid counter striking. I just see Pena getting diced up by her striking. She throws great combos, especially the 3-2. She loves throwing the left hook with the right straight. And her 1-2 is just beautiful. Like she just splits the guard perfectly. She stuffs takedowns well. She has a speed and power advantage by a mile, I would say. She in her 5-round fight, in her last fight, it was a 5-round fight for the strawweight championship at LFA. She got taken down in the final round and she faded a little bit, but that was only in like rounds 4 and 5. And I think that was her first 5-round fight. So I don't think conditioning should be a factor. So my prediction is a striking clinic that will be put on by Lupi. And I'm predicting a finish in the 2nd round. Yeah. Penny's got the experience, fought the high level people, but Lupi's been in a 5-round war herself, and she's demonstrated that she's got a relentless and no quit attitude. I'm going to lock in Lupi. Lupi lock.
Yeah, Dan, I agree with you. I think it's I don't know about a lock. I'm not going to say that, but I like Lupi in this. Jessica Pena is just too over the hill. Like I said, hasn't fought in 4 years, but you know who else didn't fight in 4 years? The Man Mountain. And he got a nice
heavyweights.
I know
anything could happen with those.
He got a dude. That dude is huge compared to Jorgen De Castro. He was still like huge.
Yeah, that fucked up our bets.
Oh my god, a little right straight to the chin.
I don't like betting. I'm not gonna bet very much on heavyweights.
It's crazy. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I put so much into him, but like, I really shouldn't have trusted him that much. But yeah, Dan, I'm going Loopy in this for sure. I don't really like this fight. It's kind of just a stepping stone fight for Loopy, so I think she's going to take advantage of that. And
I think she's gonna be she could be a contender in the future.
although this is a must win for Pena, so it really is. We're going to see what happens in this one. I'm not going to be betting on this one. I don't know.
I think I will be betting on this one.
Yeah.
Let's look at the odds real quick. I didn't even look at the odds. I just took Loopy because I was like, she's got this. Loopy's a minus 300 favorite.
Oh my God. No, I'm not touching it. I can't touch it.
Throw it on a parlay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you never know. I might throw it on a parlay or two then. What the fuck? Why not? Yeah, this one's boring. Loopy. Loopy all day. The next one, though, is what I've been waiting for. That's the one I really want to see.
Yeah, we got a guy who may or may not be on Connor's list of prospects.
Yeah, spoiler, he is this guy. And actually, I like both of these guys. Both these guys are sick. I'm going to get right into it. We both went Loopy. The next fight is Alexander Romanov versus Juan Espino. Alexander Romanov, who I had on my prospects for 2021 list, is currently sitting at 2-0 in the UFC, has a plus 2.55 striking differential over the course of his first two UFC fights, an average 6 takedowns per fight at 66% accuracy, and is dangerous with his submissions. He's taken on Juan Espino, who is also 2-0 in the UFC and has a 10.
Also dangerous with his submissions.
He also is too. He has got a 10-1 record, with 2 additional wins coming from the Ultimate Fighter, so they weren't even in there, and that was Mo Green and Ben Sassoli, 2 guys that fought in the UFC, and one still is in the UFC. He is 40 years old though. He took a layoff for 6 years in 2011, came back in 2017, but he really is an unbelievable grappler, really crafty, and he's got some crisp striking too, 80% accuracy, and has a plus 3.78 striking differential over the course of his first 2 fights.
Who, Romanov?
No, that's Espino.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of it, you got to count in. A lot of it is on the ground where they're just, it's open shots,
And Espino's got an 80-inch reach. He's gonna have a 5-inch reach advantage over Romanov too. And with his striking, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a really tough matchup. I think this fight's gonna be fireworks though, and very close. I think both fighters feel each other out, and then ultimately, I think it's going to be kind of grappling heavy. But I think Romanov will be able to get it done. But very tough fight to call. And I'm a huge fan of Romanov, and this is a tough fight.
Yeah. My deciding factor in this, both of these guys are high-level grapplers, in my opinion. Well, obviously, they're high-level grapplers. But Espino's 40 years old.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Number 2, Romanov is a lot more explosive. Espino's more technique driven. Romanov's got the technique, but he's also got the explosiveness as well. Like you see him taking some of these guys down, and he's just suplexing them.
It reminds me of a bear.
That's why his nickname's the polar bear.
Yeah,
his striking isn't too bad either. I've seen him he'll be jumping around, throwing flying knees and throwing high kicks, and he's got a super nice left body kick. Espino's 6'3", 80-inch reach, but he's 40 years old. Great grappler. Nasty submission in his last fight, actually, with the scarf hold choke. Did you see that?
You don't see that often. Yeah, I did see that. That was
yeah. Romanov's a decade younger, but this is the battle of 2 submission artists in the heavyweight division, and big heavyweights at that. It's not the 230 guys. These are the 250, 260 guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Both have a good technical ability, but Romanov has the explosive and power advantage. I think that Romanov takes this fight against his older opponent in Juan Espino. But that is in no ways disrespecting Espino. It's just a super interesting matchup.
Both guys are very similar, but I just give the edge to Romanov because he's younger. Like you said, I think he's stronger than Espino.
I could see Romanov knockout.
Really? That'd be interesting.
I mean, he throws some hard shots on the feet before
he does, for sure. I mean, he's got 2
down at will.
he's showed off his submission game. Maybe he tries to go out there and rock him on the feet to show that he's got the hands too.
Yeah.
Which he does.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great fight. We're both going Romanov. I'm glad you picked Romanov, Dan.
Yeah, I like I said, they're both, when it comes to technical ability, they're both submission machines.
Right.
Just got so much explosiveness that I gotta take Romanov. I can't not take Romanov.
Awesome. So we're agreeing. We're both going Romanov. The next one is Tracy Cortez versus Justine Kish.
Yep. So we'll start off with Justine Kish. If you're not familiar with Justine Kish, she's the person who shit her pants in the fight against Felice Herrig.
No, that's her.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh, wow. That's how you explain her.
That's my lead off. I'm sorry, Justine, if you're listening.
I hope she's watching.
It happens to everybody.
That's
what?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I shit my pants. I shit my pants all the time. You know.
Hey, you're not a real adult until you fucking.
You're not a real adult until you shit your pants.
Man, let's be real here. Anyway, back to business. Justine Kish has lost 3 of her last 4 fights. On the real. She is solid. She's a solid, pretty well-rounded fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a stepping stone matchup. I don't want to go I don't even think this really needs that much a breakdown. If you guys have seen Tracy Cortez fight,
it's crazy.
He is incredible. Like, she is super fun to watch. She's got an amazing ground game. She does go to a decision a lot, but it's not like she's not trying to get finishes either. You know, she changes levels well, decent striking game. Like, she's an all-around pretty great fighter. One of those female flyweights to keep an eye on. Her grappling is just on another level too. She just takes it back so efficiently and just beautifully. And Maria Agapova, who was one of the rising stars the UFC had before she suffered her setback. She got dominated. And when I say dominated, it was like 30-26 against Tracy Cortez in a Contender Series fight. So I think this is just setting up a Tracy Cortez dominant unanimous decision, or she could finish the fight via sub or TKO on the ground. I just don't think that Kish's levels are on Tracy Cortez's levels. Like, Kish got subbed by Sabina Mazo in her last fight, and I think that Tracy Cortez's grappling is
more dangerous,
superior.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, Dan. Tracy Cortez, 3-0 in the UFC with her last 2 wins coming from bantamweight, and now she's dropping back down to flyweight for this fight, which I think is her more natural weight class to begin with anyway. She has a 1.69. What'd you say?
Kish or Cortez?
Cortez.
I think it was like a late notice bantamweight fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the last 2 fights she had were both 135.
Yeah, but they were in like yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. So she has a plus 1.69 striking differential and averages a takedown around with 85% takedown defense. She's taken on Justine Kish, who's 3-3 in the UFC, losing 3 out of her last 4 fights. She's a decent striker, okay grappling. But at the end of the day, I think Cortez is just far better wherever the fight goes, and bigger, I think also. Out of the 2, I have Cortez in this fight.
Lock.
I think this will be a good test for her. Probably her hardest test yet, but I think she takes it still.
I think this is a near lock too.
Dan's throwing the locks around all over the place, but we're both going.
240.
What is it?
That's a solid for a lock at -240. I like that.
Yeah, I definitely think she's gonna win. So we're both going Tracy Cortez. Going right into the next one, Ricardo Ramos
versus Bill Algeo.
Versus Bill Algeo. You want me to do this one, Dan?
Yeah, you got this, brother.
All right, Bill Algeo, 1-2 under the UFC umbrella. He's coming off his first UFC win against Spike Carlisle. Algeo loves to strike, but leaves himself open for shots a lot. Takes a decent amount of damage. He does average over 6 strikes per minute and has a plus 1.5 striking differential, but it's been taken down 12 times over the course of 3 fights. He's taken on Ricardo Ramos, 5-2 in the UFC, and is 2-2 in his last 4. More recently, coming off a KO loss to Lerone Murphy, who is just a stud.
Yeah,
Crazy.
his only 2 losses in the UFC are to Saeed Nurmagomedov and Lerone Murphy. So that's 2 solid guys.
5-2 in the UFC is a great record to have. Like, that's, you cannot ask for.
Who, Ramos?
Yeah.
I think it's better than that. 1, 2, 3. Actually, yeah, no, 5-2.
Yeah.
If you're looking for, as Dana White's looking for a fight, then you could count 6-2.
Yeah. Where was I?
Sorry for throwing you off your mojo.
Yeah, Ramos, he has a minus 2.8 striking differential, but I think has a more well-rounded game than Algeo, averaging 2 takedowns per fight at 56% accuracy. And with Algeo having questionable takedown defense, I think that Ramos definitely has the edge over Algeo. But Ramos, I don't know, coming off from that KO loss, I just questioned him a little bit, because Bill Algeo knows how to strike. That's what he does best. Yeah. But I think Ramos will be able to get it done.
Yeah, this fight, like, I kind of don't even want to throw a prediction into this fight because this fight is so 50-50.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I don't like this, but it's a great job done by the UFC matchmakers because I have no idea what's going to happen in this fight. And like, obviously both fighters are going to try to instill their game plans, and whoever does it
Striker grappler
is going to win. But it's still a tough one to call, man.
Totally.
Like, I agree with like all the points you made, like 100%. Algeo definitely looked great against Spike Carlisle, and I remember when everybody was getting shit for taking Algeo over Spike Carlisle. Shout out to them.
Yeah, that was a fun fight to watch. They just threw punches like crazy. Awesome. And this is like the opposite. This is going to be a striker versus grappler. This is going to be the opposite of that fight. Ramos is going to be trying to. What'd you say?
Who did you end up taking in this fight?
Ramos.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Fuck it. I think I'm gonna take Algeo, but like I don't even want to count this as one of my picks. Is how little confidence I have in this. Like, I don't know where this fight is going. It's just tough. This is the toughest one on the card.
Really?
Yeah. And the odds reflect that. They're both minus 110 right now. So
both minus 110. Okay, so
literally
it's a
pick 'em.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em. I like this pick 'em, honestly.
It could go so many, a multitude of ways too. Like, you know that. Yeah. Like, it's just tough. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's I can't go against Ramos. He's just proved that he's got what it takes to be like facing great competition in the UFC. And Bill Algeo hasn't really showed much. Great striker, but
yeah, you know what? Fuck it. You can literally see I've been teeter-tottering on this fight for the last 48 hours. Actually last 24 hours since I really started locking down on these picks after the fights last night. Or yes, like that Saturday during the daytime. Yeah, super fucking tough, man. I'm gonna take Ramos.
Ramos. All right. Yeah. That's a good choice. I think.
But like I said, I don't even want to throw a prediction in for this one because I want everybody to keep their money away from this.
Yeah, if it's those odds, I like Ramos with those odds, honestly.
Maybe you'll convince me over the course of this week.
You never know. You never know. But we're both going Ramos, and we're gonna move right into the next one: Luis Pena versus Alex Munoz. Do you want me to take this one too, Dan?
Yes, sir.
All right, Pena 4-3 under because I'm a big Luis Pena fan. Dan tells me earlier.
You're a huge Luis Pena fan. You're his biggest fan.
Luis
Violent Bob Ross.
Yeah, dope nickname. 4-3 under the UFC umbrellas, coming off a loss from Kama Worthy. Fights out of AKA's got a plus 0.5 striking differential and averages 1.4 takedowns per fight. Really long and lanky, great kicks. Yeah, dangerous off his back.
In the lightweight division, that's fucking super lanky.
Yeah, totally. He's got some great jujitsu too. He's taken on Alex Munoz 1-1 under the UFC umbrella, but he beat Nick Newell who's got one hand. So like you beat Nick Newell to get into the UFC, man. Okay. And then his debut loss to Nasrat Haqparast, who's just a stud. So that's a tough UFC debut you got right there. And it was a one-sided fight.
It was a very one-sided fight.
He only has a 6-1 record, very green to the sport. Tough to gauge where he stands. I like Pena. Munoz is tough as nails, though. He took a beating from Haqparast, and it went to decision. Right? It went to decision, didn't it?
Yeah, it went to a decision.
Yeah, okay.
It was unanimous, though. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, but that's like he's just tough, you know.
Yeah.
But this one, I think Violent Bob Ross is getting his hand raised. I'm going with Violent Bob Ross.
Yeah, this fight is closer. This is actually a pretty close fight, though. If when you really start like looking at, like I wasn't able to get as much tape on this fight as I wanted to. I'm gonna be honest. But from what I saw out of Munoz, I kind of really like. I know he's coming off of his Nasrat Haqparast loss, but
Right.
You're gonna lose to Nasrat. You know, like he's a beast. Pena, on the other hand, is it a little insulting to say he's a little bit overrated?
No, I think I would say he is a bit overrated.
That's what I'm saying. Like people like think a little too highly of him. Comma worthy, like he's like he's a submaster, but he loses by submission to Comma worthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tough. This is another tough one. I promise the fights will get easier, but we got a couple in a row that are just a little tough. And this is one of them. I'm gonna go with the underdog in Munoz in this one, but it's nothing that I'm super confident from. I just kind of like the way he fights. I love it. He's fighting out of AKA. He's got Javier Mendez, Bob Cook, all those guys training him out of California. I mean, he's just actually no, that's Pena. Oh. Yo, cut that. Because I knew both of them fought at high-level gyms. Munoz fights a team alpha male. Yeah, that's what got me thrown off. Fuck, man, this fight is close. It is super close.
Yeah, it's close because you're mixing up who's who. So who are you taking?
I mixed up the gyms. I was gonna say Luis Pena's alpha male, but I got them mixed up. I'm gonna take Munoz, but I'm like I said, this is another fight I'm not super confident in, and when I said last week the UFC's been doing a really good job with matchmaking, this is another example. Next card, I'm liking it a lot better. But yeah, I'm gonna lean Munoz. My opinion might change because it already has. You know, at first I had Munoz, then I was on Pena for like a good amount of time, and now, like last second, I'm just gonna go back to Munoz. I don't know why. He's 31. He's got a huge size disadvantage, but I don't know. I see him getting a win. I think he's a little stronger.
I hope he's got what it takes. Hope that strength helps. But we're disagreeing on this one, right, Dan?
Yeah, we're gonna disagree on that one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, Dan's gonna go with Munoz. I'm going with Pena. We're gonna move right into the next one. Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Jacob Malcone. You want to do this one, Dan?
Yes.
Cool.
I will. Abdul Razak Alhassan is like I was a huge fan and thought he was gonna go really big. He's coming off of 2 straight losses to Chaos Williams, where he got stopped pretty quickly, and Munir, the sniper Lazez, who's just an absolute stud. But you got to remember, Abdul Razak Alhassan, I'm just going to call him Abdul, just to shorten it up a little bit. He knocked Nico Price out cold. There is not very many people that could say, hey, I knocked Nico Price out cold. And he did that. But he is going up to middleweight for this fight. So I'm intrigued to because he missed weight by like 3 or 4 pounds in his last fight, I believe. So, or in one of like
He
he's
did. It was his
missed
last
weight
fight. He missed weight.
times, I'm pretty sure, or
Yeah,
at
he
least
missed weight.
pretty badly. Um, he's got some serious power, but he also has this serious like looping tendency. Like he'll go a little blitz heavy and throw a little, like very untechnical punches. But if they land, and they hit hard.
Right.
Um, he's still a really good fighter all around, though. Like I'm a big fan of his, and he said he like really like opened up after his last fight and was saying how like he he was like he like opened up, and said like how much it sucks losing two in a row,
Yeah.
and I felt like really bad for him. I think he's going to come in super motivated, and Jacob Malhoun is a super inexperienced fighter, and I don't even think he should necessarily be in the UFC yet. I think he should be honing and crafting his skills and getting
For
better
sure.
as a fighter.
For sure.
So this is a perfect bounce back matchup for Abdul Razak Alhassan. He takes the fight easily, and then his experience comes into play big time in this fight. I think he stops it.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree. Alhassan 0-2 since returning to the UFC. Like you said, with the couple of losses, Chaos Williams, although he did miss weight, he's moving up in weight now, 185. I think that's going to be better.
Return?
What's up?
You said return to the UFC?
Yeah.
He's been fighting with the UFC.
No, he was wrongly accused of a crime, and then
Oh yeah, he like
away
there
from
was the sexual assault thing that
right,
happened.
and then he was like, it was then he was acquitted
He
of
found
everything.
guilty. Not guilty on everything.
Yeah.
So
So, but
that,
that's what I mean. He
that he
was
didn't do shit like that because there's no room for people like that in the UFC.
yeah, for sure, and he's got 100% KO finish rate. He's taken on Jacob Malcone, 4-1 MMA records, coming off a UFC debut loss to Phil Hawes in a fight where he was KO'd and didn't land a strike. I don't think Malcone has what it takes to be in the UFC. He's here because he's Robert Whittaker's sparring partner.
Not yet, at least. Let him develop.
Yeah, I don't really see him ever getting there. But what do I know?
I mean,
Al-
hard work pays off. Like if he really puts in the work, he can maybe get there. But it's just like when you have when you have 4 fights and you're in the UFC, it's just like you're asking for it in a way.
Alhassan's been through a lot in the past couple of years, like I said, wrongly accused of that crime. So I give him some slack for he wasn't training for 2 years. He was dealing with whatever court issues. He comes back, he loses his first 2 fights. I give him a lot of slack for losing those 2 fights. And I think this is a great matchup for him, and he'll be able to get back in the win column this weekend.
Yeah, because I'm actually a big fan of his. He's one
Yeah.
of my he's I'm not gonna say he's my favorite fighter ever or anything, but like
He's
I'm a
fun to
fan.
watch. Dude, he's got 100% KO, 100% KO finish rate. You're not going to be, everyone's going to be a fan of this guy.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think he's going to win by KO again. So we'll see what happens. We're both going to go with Abdul Razak Alhassan in that one, and we're going to move into our co-main event, Drakkar Klose versus Jeremy Stephens. Do you want this one or the main, Dan?
Your call.
All right, I'll take this one then. First of all, I'm just going to start off by saying fireworks. This fight, Drakkar Klose versus Jeremy Stephens, I think is going to be fireworks.
Fireworks.
So just, I'm going to get to everything, but like, just enjoy this fight. Drakkar Klose won 3 out of his last 4, and most recently coming off a KO loss from Daniil Bariush, which was brutal. He's got
that was one of the craziest like 40-second spans in UFC history. Like how he rocked Beneil Dariush. Dariush looks like he's wobbling, and then boom, hits him with the left hand, like a crazy left hand, and then Drakkar Klose is against the cage, and then Beneil just finished him off and just knocked him out cold.
Drakkar Klose, he's got some really heavy hands. He's outstruck his opponent in 3 out of his last 5 fights as well. He's had a couple of fizzled bouts in 2021, but is ready to come back after being out for over a year. He's taken on Jeremy Stephens, who hasn't won a fight since February of 2018 and is 0-4. with 1 no contest in his last 5. But from all really elite competitions, Calvin Kattar, Yair Rodriguez twice, Zabit, and Jose Aldo. So it's very like that's who he's fighting. No wonder he went 0-5.
Yeah, Calvin Kattar, Yair, Zabit, and Jose Aldo.
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
that's gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure. And he was giving Kattar a pretty close fight before getting KO'd too. Stevens is moving up in weight again to 155. He hasn't fought there since 2012.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a long
Long time, dude. Almost a decade at 145. This fight is so close to call. Stevens is crazy, and I wouldn't be surprised if he came out there with something to prove. And this is the best matchup he's had in years, having fought that insane amount of elite competition recently. I'm gonna roll with Stevens in this one. This fight scares me. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy it. I'm not gonna place any money on it, but I'm just gonna go with Jeremy Stevens. I don't think he's gonna lose 6 in a row.
Yeah. Are you done?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So they're actually, when you look at both of these guys, you see that Jeremy Stevens is 34 years old and Drakkar Klose is 33. But when we say this all the time,
old and young.
Drakkar Klose is a young 33.
He's only got 13
Jeremy
fights.
Stevens is an old 34. He has taken a lot of punishment in his UFC career. Another thing with Jeremy Stevens is he is we all remember the infamous press conference where
who the fuck's that guy?
Yeah, who the fuck is that guy?
And Jeremy Stevens actually has the record for most losses in the UFC.
Yeah, but he's been fighting for the UFC since fucking as long
2008 or something like that.
He's been fighting in the UFC since 2007. His first his first fight in the UFC was a loss via armbar to Dean Thomas.
Oh wow, friend of the podcast. Yeah, that's funny.
What's it called? Would love to have it.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk to Dean Thomas. That guy is just a great.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Coach, but a great coach, great fighter, legend of the sport. But I'm sidetracking myself right now. Yeah, so I'll just get into it right now. Like you look through his career, and he's got some huge wins. He KO'd RDA. Not a lot of people can say they got that. They got that on their resume. He KO'd Marcus Davis, if you guys remember Marcus Davis. He fought Anthony Pettis back in 2011 to a split decision.
Way back.
Wins over Darren Elkins, Dennis Bermudez, Henan Barao, Gilbert Melendez,
Josh
Emmett. Like Jeremy Stevens has had a super accomplished career.
Definitely.
And he's one of the pound for pound most heavy hitters the UFC has ever had. He is a finishing machine, you know?
Yeah.
He's been finished before. Like that elbow that he took to Kattar was absolutely brutal.
Crazy.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you got a guy who in Drakkar Klose, who I think is hungry and he's out for something to prove because he was close to knocking out Beneil Dariush. And you see Beneil Dariush has a fight with Tony Ferguson lined up.
Yeah.
He's thinking in the back of his mind, like, if I could have finished that fight against him rather than getting a little wild and getting caught, I could be in that same position. So Drakkar Klose is no joke. I'm going to take Drakkar Klose in this fight. I know he's a little bit of an underdog, and Jeremy Stevens is going back up to like more. I think 155 is his weight class. That's where that's where he was the most successful, I'd say, throughout his UFC career. And again, he's one of the hardest hitters of all time.
Right.
And power is the last thing to go when it comes to fighters. So the one thing that scares me is Jakar Close can get knocked out in this fight. But overall, I'm going to take him in this fight. He looked pretty good, and he looked good in the Dariush fight until the knockout happened.
Yeah, that was a close fight.
Yeah, it was a close fight, and he almost finished him. The Christos Giagos fight, he won pretty decisively, if I'm remembering correctly. It was like 29-28, I think. I think Giagos won around in the middle somewhere at the end. I forget. Wins over Lando Venata, Mark Diakius. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He has his only losses in the UFC are to Beneil Dariush and David Tamer. That's solid competition, you know. So I'm gonna ride with Drakkar Close in this one. It's a tough one, but I'll ride with him.
All right. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I would I and no disrespect to Stevens, it's just like I think he's taken too much punishment over the years, and he's a little bit over the hill.
Yeah, definitely over the hill.
I think Drakkar Close is hungrier. I know he's a year younger, but I'm gonna use he's like the young fucking he's a young bull in this fight, you know, like he's going out there with something to prove. Jeremy Stevens is somebody who's proven a lot in the UFC. This guy's a UFC legend. I know he's got the most losses in the UFC, but he's up there with the most wins, you know?
True.
So
all right,
yeah,
cool.
no disrespect to Jeremy Stevens. It's going to be a tough one, but I think that Drakkar Close gets this fight done.
For sure.
Might even finish him.
All right, nice. We're going to disagree on this one. I'm going Stevens. Dan's going closer, and we're going to move out into the main event, Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum.
Bobby Knuckles.
Take it away, Dan.
I thought you got it.
I did the co-main. You want me to do this one too?
Oh, okay. I thought I did the co-main.
No, I did the co-main.
I realized that you did the co-main. You are aware that I'm burnt. But anyway, I think this fight was originally going to be Paulo Costa versus Robert Whittaker, which would have been a super
that would have been crazy,
interesting fight. But Costa had to withdraw from the fight. And I would love to see Costa fighting like a Derek Brunson or something like that down the line. There's so many intriguing middleweight fights. Or Costa could fight Marvin Vettori. That'd be a dope fight. Something like that. But anyway, Kelvin Gastelum comes in. He's like, I'll take the fight on a month's notice. I don't care. They were coaches in the Tough 28. I think it was the last season of Tough before they went on hiatus / got canceled, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's cool.
Either that or one more. And what's it called? Before Whittaker got injured, he had like that collapsed bowel, if you remember.
Gnarly.
It was just nasty, and then that opened the door for the Adesanya and Gastelum fight, which is an all-time classic in my opinion.
Great fight, close,
amazing fight. The only time that like somebody really hurt Adesanya on the feet, and it was Gastelum, and he did it twice in that fight. So I'm again super like. I'm a huge Kelvin Gastelum fan, and I'm also a huge Bobby Knuckles fan, and you don't really get nicer than Bobby Knuckles too. Like
that's true.
And Gastelum, they're both super fucking.
They're both great. Oh, dude, these guys are great. They're like both
A+ middleweight. They're A-level middleweights, A-level people. You know, these are people you know like.
You don't want to see someone lose.
Yeah, like I personally don't. This sucks for me because it's just. It sucks for everybody because we're like everybody kind of likes everybody at least respects both of these guys, you know. Gastelum is coming off of a loss. Actually, no, he's coming off of a win over Ian Heinisch. I forgot about that even. Before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak, losing to Israel Adesanya. Obviously, nothing to hang your head about. He lost to Darren Till. nothing to hang your head about. And then he got heel hooked by the Joker Jack Hermanson in like a minute, which I'm not gonna say it was flukish, but I would love to see how that fight would have played on if he got out of that heel hook. But Gastelum did look pretty decent in his last fight, but I think that Bobby Knuckles is on a different level when it comes to
Facts.
fighting. He's 30 years old, the prime of his career. People are like Marvin Vittori recently said like, "Oh, he's not hungry." Like Robert Whittaker is such a nice guy. He's not going to go out there and start talking shit about everybody, like talking shit about his competition and everything. Like he's just a solid all around guy. Yeah. After he lost his title to Adesanya, he's on a 2-fight winning streak where he beat Darren Till and the Killer Gorilla Jared Cannonier, which is definitely pretty impressive. The fight with Till was close. It was 48-47 across all judges' scorecards. I think this is a great matchup between them. I think it's going to stay on the feet for the a good part. Gastelum might incorporate a good amount. Like honestly, Gastelum might go wrestling heavy. Who knows what his game plan is?
Yeah, right.
But like Robert Whittaker fought Yoel Romero twice. He went 10 rounds with Yoel Romero. He knocked out Jacare. He knocked out Derek Brunson. He knocked out Brad Tavares. Like this guy's just solid all around, you know. And he's the number one rated. He's the number one ranked middleweight for a reason.
For sure.
And even though I see him, he does not match up against Adesanya well at all. I think we could agree with that.
Yeah,
he matches up pretty terribly against him. Adesanya wins that fight like 90 times out of 100, in my opinion.
Facts.
But I still do think that he's clearly a step above most middleweights. So there are some middleweights that might give him some issues. Vittori, Angry Marvin, you know. But yeah, it's just this is Whittaker's fight to lose. I think he's got this pretty much in the bag. And he's fighting a guy short notice. He's fighting a guy who hasn't shown to be championship level. And yeah, that's just about it, you know? Like we don't need to go into tape breakdown because we've all seen Robert Whittaker fight his last like 6 or 7 fights. And if you're a hardcore MMA fan, you've seen Gastelum fight in a bunch of his last fights. They both have their clear, like Gastelum loves to stand too. He's got some solid stand up, but it's just both of them have just such great names on their resume that they've beaten. Like this fight's fucking awesome. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Gastelum ever since he beat Uriah Hall in that what's it called? He beat Uriah Hall in the tough finale after Uriah Hall just like destroyed that entire competition. Everybody's like, yo, it's gonna be the next big thing.
Derailed.
Gastelum comes out and he beats him.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah, like I want to find out what the odds were in that fight because everybody had their money on Uriah Hall.
Rightfully so. He was killing it.
Yeah. He beat Rick Story, Jake Ellenberger. He lost a close split decision to Tyron Woodley. Lost a close split. He beat Nate Marquardt. He beat Johnny Hendricks. Split decision lost to Neil Magny. That's not much. He TKO'd Vitor Belfort, and it got overturned because he tested positive for marijuana. But like, but that was in Brazil because Brazil just super anti-weed, right. I guess. But like over here, that's a knockout win, you know. So I'm counting that as a win. Knocked out Bisping, ended Bisping's career actually. But yeah, he has lost 3 of his last 4, but he bounced back against Ian Heinisch in a solid fight where he looked pretty good. So I'm gonna go. I've said it already, but I'm gonna go Bobby Knuckles in this fight. I think he's just super good.
Yeah,
Like, not much else to say. Like Robert Whittaker is an absolute stud.
You said it all. It's I'm totally agreeing with you. Bobby Knuckles, 3-1 in his last 4, only losing to Style Bender. Since gone on that 2-fight winning streak to basically the top guys in the division, in my opinion, Darren Till and Jared Cannonier.
Yeah, he had a huge winning streak up until his loss to.
Yeah, he did. It was like I was going to get into that actually. He has a plus 1.08 striking differential, and his last 4 wins have all come by decision. He's outstruck 9 out of his last 10 opponents and hasn't been taken down in his last 3 fights. I think this is a much better matchup for him than Costa. Gastelum isn't a slouch by any means, but Robert Whittaker is just on another level. And I think that the only person that can't, like, it goes Adesanya and then Robert Whittaker, and then I don't think anyone else is able to beat those 2 guys.
I think that's a clear number 1 and number 2, and the number 1 reigns supreme over the number 2
for sure. But that's the 2 guys you got to beat. Like, I don't think anyone else beats Bobby Knuckles besides Adesanya.
I don't think Vettori beats him.
No.
I don't think that Hermanson beats him. I don't think that he already beat Jared Cannonier.
Yeah.
He already beat
Darren Till and Jared Cannonier. What else?
Yeah, I would love to see him beat Costa too, to prove our point even more that
that's true.
He is that good. You know?
But yeah, Dan, I'm agreeing with you on this one. Bobby Knuckles got this. I'm confident in this. I like Kelvin Gastelum, but this is a great matchup for Robert Whittaker.
Oh yeah, Bobby Knuckles got this for sure.
All right, awesome. We agreed on a lot more this week, Dan. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it makes me a little more confident.
Yeah, for sure. Last week we were just
last week we disagreed and I went up a decent amount of money. So
yeah, that's true. I did very well also.
I got the little ponytail action for this week. You see it?
Oh wow.
That's a solid ponytail, right?
Yeah, you gotta show that off to the fans.
Yeah,
pony.
I want to say I tried to book a salon appointment to get the Sugar Sean look in, and I wasn't able to get one in time today for us to record. So
next time.
UFC 261, which is in 2 weeks, our predictions will be recorded in a week from today.
Yeah.
The Sugar Sean look will be in by then. So
awesome.
Thank you again all for the 100 subs.
Yeah.
We appreciate it
for sure
very much. The support's been fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
And I'm happy you guys are starting to realize that we got some of the best picks around. Go look at MMA Junkies lead writers and go look at how we've been doing.
That's true. We're actually going to get the
seriously compare the two. They might have beat us on 1 or 2 cards this entire year.
Right.
One of us.
Yeah, fuck them.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, we're killing it, bro.
Yeah, they suck, dude. They don't get it.
I mean, they're doing it for a living, and we're I guess maybe, I don't know, they're just, maybe they do a much, they know these fighters and a little bit of bias goes into it. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
On the real, I'm sitting at 82.222% on pay-per-view. Top to bottom, first prelim of the night, I cover all that.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where Connor's at because I've only been keeping track where I'm at. I'm a self fuck. But we're gonna start we're gonna tally up all of our rights and wrongs over the course of the year. We're gonna see, who has more wins, who has more losses, and then we're gonna compare them to some of our competition out there, and we're gonna prove to you guys that we really do put in the work over here, and appreciate you guys for supporting it because it's only helping us grow, and we're bringing you guys along for the ride.
All right. We're wrapping up UFC Fight Night, Whittaker Gastelum, No Brainer MMA signing off.
Appreciate you all.
All right, dope.